Chris, I don't know if I ever told you this story.
Okay.
As you know, I'm a 26-year-old man.
Yes.
Hired by ESPN out of Redding, California. Just showed up, and my head was spinning. And also, I was a single man. I hadn't met Susie yet, my wife, and I was invited over to someone's house for Thanksgiving in 1996, knowing that I had no place to go pretty much. My folks were down in New Jersey. I couldn't get down there because I was working that night. It was you and your lovely wife, Rece Davis.
My wife, Lee, who made some southern dishes and turkey, and we introduced
that was new for me.
So you were already married, Rece, back
Yeah,
then.
I was.
Oh, yeah.
I'd gotten married while I was still working in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
So, which I tell you, you want to test true love. Although I loved my time in Flint, about 6 weeks before our wedding, I took a job in Flint, Michigan. And she's like, I'm not sure this is the right decision here.
Right.
But fortunately, it's worked out for us.
Well, 10 days before I got married to Susie, ESPN and I parted ways.
That was
really?
something. Was it that quickly?
Rece,
I didn't know that.
Rece, let's put it this way. I got married on June 7th, 2003. I got a letter faxed to me. This will give you an idea. Faxed to me from ESPN saying, we're done, 2 days before it was all over. And before I could even figure anything that was out, somebody from USA Today called up to ask me my comment about, quote unquote, not getting renewed when I thought we had 48 more hours to just negotiate. So
this is a new story to me. I mean, as long as we've been friends, I never knew this story.
Let's put it this way. There was an executive table at my wedding with some empty seats. 10 days later. Yeah, man. It was interesting. Interesting. I didn't mean to Trump. I mean,
no. That's
the. We both had some interesting stories to tell surrounding our wedding with careers. And Susie was living out in Los Angeles as a broadcaster. She came back to New York because we were going to live together, and we wound up being in Los Angeles together. Again, months later with the NFL Network, and that's why I'm being very honest. I'm very excited to be on with you and Trey on Thursday. Because, I did an appearance on Mike and Mike, I think on ESPN2 at a Super Bowl. I just appeared in a spot, and it just was simulcast there. And when Stewart passed, Scott Van Pelt had me on via remote.
I remember seeing
on
that.
SportsCenter, which I was touched by, that he would reach out to me, and ESPN would want me part of the remembrance of such a special guy.
Yeah.
And we both have great stories of just hanging out with Stu. And because I came a year after, and you were, I'm sure, part of the Deuce era with Stu.
That's what I was hired to do, was to be on that show with Stuart and Susie. And our kids are close to the same age. In fact, our daughters graduated high school together.
Same high school?
Same high school, yeah. Both went to Miss Porter's school in Farmington and graduated together, part of the same class. So, we've maintained friendship with Kim over the years, too. And, Stuart was a great friend and tremendous talent. So
yeah, of course.
And you guys had unbelievable chemistry on the air,
well,
too.
Before he and I would just open up our schedule, they would just put the schedules into the computer, Chris, back in the day, and it would happen at any time during
fate hung in the balance.
Really, yeah, seriously, like you're trying to figure out what your life is for February, and it's like January 10th, and there's no schedule out, and we would always look at each other and go, "Is the schedule out yet? Like when the hell are you going to put the schedule out?" And so before and you would just open it up, and Stuart and I just started realizing, why are we doing the show together more often than not? Like we're fine with it, but like, are we a team now? Because if we're a team, we want to be announced as a team, like
right.
Dan and Keith were a team, right? And if you weren't part of a team, you were like looking at each other, wondering like, how can I get part of a team? Rece Davis,
me, right?
Right? I mean, like, I'm kind of describing our experience.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, and you always wondered when you would open up that schedule every month, if depending on the shows you got, even though the executives would deny, and I hope I don't get in trouble saying this, but probably different guys anyway, they would tell you, it doesn't mean anything. And you absolutely knew it meant something. Yeah,
of course
it
meant
something.
I know.
So,
but before that, you and I did a ton of SportsCenters together when I first started. You and I would do a ton of them. Late night. You and I spent many 3 a.m.s waiting for some Colorado Rocky reliever to get a strike over the plate in 14th inning, right? We're like
the great producer Rob Gazzaro, who used to always have. We would have to wait because the show would re-air 18 times, right? So you'd have to wait till the final game was over,
right?
And you would hear Robbie G get in your ear sometime and go, and then he'd go,
it was a sire,
and then he'd go, the Dodgers have been put on this earth to screw me, right? It'd be an extra innings, something.
But also, Stu and I would definitely go off script a ton. Mm-hmm. And Rob Gazzaro, you meant Rob G, would be producing all of these. And so we would go off script and we would just blow the timing of the show totally out of the water. I was mindful of it. Stuart, I think, was mindful of it, but didn't care about blowing past these stop signs. He was just doing his thing. Yeah. And as he would say, doing it well, right? And so I knew we were heavy, as they say in the business. Our rundown was being blown up. And we'd get to the commercial break, and we'd wait to hear our instructions for the next segment about what would live or die, as the phrase is, and the rundown from Rob. And then he'd get in our ears, and the first thing I'd hear is, but he wouldn't say that we're killing him either, like the Dodgers, but right. I knew that we were. Oh, man, Rece, I'm so glad we had the same experience while we were living it at the same time. And at any rate, the reason why I bring it all full circle is that I have not been on ESPN since I walked off the set on that SportsCenter that night that I had no idea was my last. Mm-hmm. Like, literally did not know the night I walked off my last SportsCenter that I'm leaving, and that everything about my identity to this point, where I met Susie, I met my wife, our 3 children are ESPN babies, essentially because of that. It means a lot to me to be back. And with you, who I've known for a long time, and Trey, Hal 3 Sticks, Trey Wingo, it's going to be great. Like, it really does mean a lot to me that in the partnership that the NFL has created for the draft with you on ABC and Trey on ESPN and me on the NFL Network, that we do have a spot for us to chit-chat like that.
I'm really looking forward to it, Rich. And I think it's appropriate. I feel very sorry for the producer of the show and for Sam. I think Sam Ponder's going to be with us.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I think she's going to be with us. And,
okay.
And so feel sorry for her. But, she had no shot to get the mic back. But
4 hosts on a set.
Although I think that you might get some really intelligent television with 4 hosts on the set.
I think so.
All of a sudden,
I know. Because we are the most crucial part of a broadcast.
That's what I said.
Without us, it falls apart.
Well, I'm sure you do the same thing. I tell my producer on game days, Rodney Perez, with a live production, things can go wrong.
Right.
And I'll always tell him, I say, Hot Rod, you get in trouble, brother, put that camera on me and we good. You know what I'm saying?
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.